All right, people, welcome to part 2 of my 10 predictions for Australia. In the first part, you can go and watch it, where I discuss my first 5 predictions. Number 1, your neighborhoods, our suburbs will look more and more third worldly. There will be an increase in crime. Australian women will notice a sharp increase in sexual crime against them. Number 4, the Australian flag will become racist. Number 5, you will be arrested for social media posts. So some of these predictions you have probably already seen getting materialized. Some haven't happened yet, but they will happen because the people who are running the show are the same people who destroyed Europe. That's it. That's my source of making these predictions. I don't have a crystal ball, but 5 years ago, I went through Europe and I saw, this is going to happen in Australia because I saw the first-hand effects of woke socialist lunatics running those countries. That's what I saw. So let's go to prediction number 6. You will notice two-tier justice. It is happening on a scale that is inconceivable to Australians today, but it will become the new norm. In the UK, they have a name for it. They called it two-tier justice. They even have a name for their prime minister, two-tier Keir. Why? Because he has clearly supported this two-tier policing and two-tier justice. I'll just show you the latest tweet from Tommy Robinson. Look at this. So he's saying, Twitter user is jailed for 18 months for 2 anti-immigration tweets. Okay, 2 anti-immigration tweets. He got jailed for 18 months. Now, on the right of that, have a look. Intoxicated Nigerian man who essayed a teenager is spared jail due to his troubled background. So you see that? So you can go to jail for years if you say something on social media. But if you are a non-white person, then you can even not go to jail for R-ing a woman. It's become, there are literally thousands of these cases in the UK. You probably might have noticed that it has actually started already happening in Australia. Look at this. A recently arrived Sri Lankan national, Melita blah, 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 who's a transgender, far-left extremist and a pro-Hamas, pro-Palestine supporter, has avoided jail for setting off a bomb inside the Melbourne Convention and Exhibition Centre. So this lefty, woke lunatic wanted to cause death and injury, but he's not going to go to jail. Look at him. That's him. So that's a prime example of two-tier justice. Now imagine if a white person did something. Now I'm not an ethno-nat and I have no sympathy for ethno-nats for obvious reasons. But look at the full force of the law that is applied to those ethno-nats. But look how our justice system treats far left wokey lunatics and even Islamists as well. A lot of these ISIS brides terrorists have come into Australia because, again, we have Anthony Albanese in power. A lot of them didn't even get charged, and they're still full burqa wearing people, so they haven't become westernized or anything. They're still Islamists. They're still radical Islamists, but they just got tired. Life got tough in a refugee camp in Syria. So they thought, oh, you know what? Let's go to the country that we hate a lot. In a normal world, this should never be allowed, but it's normal. It's the new norm. That's my point. So you'll have two-tier justice. Rapists will walk free. Kind of like what you just saw. A Nigerian rapist just walked free. It's going to happen more and more in Australia. And who's going to suffer? Australian women. The women who fought very hard to win over their feminist rights. Okay? What's that woman, Australian of the Year, Grace Tame, the one who shouted the river to the sea thing slogan? She was a victim of rape by a white man. So that's why she thinks that, oh, I got raped by a white man, therefore white men bad and every other non-white person is good. That's how their mind works. So careful what you wish for, because that's not going to end well. Number 7, two-tier policing. In the UK, we've seen it. Two-tier policing. Let me give you an example. When it's a non-white person, this is how British police reacts. Look at this. A pro-Palestine Muslim person, protester, is sitting on a war memorial.
Please come down, sir.
You need to please come down. You need to come down, sir, please. Could you please come down? Don't desecrate our national icons. But when patriots turn up to guard their war memorials, like the cenotaph, because these pro-Palestinians had said that we don't care about your national commemoration days or whatnot, the same police turned up with their batons, horses, dogs, full on riot gear. Look at this. These are old pensioners. These are elderly people. Their fathers literally died in World War II. So they're here to guard the cenotaph and save it from desecration. Because up until that point, these pro-Pali people had just put graffiti. They're basically desecrated. Again, why wouldn't they? Because they're not their heroes. World War II heroes are not their heroes. They don't care about that. They don't even know World War II history. It's the same thing we've seen here in Australia. They defaced our Lest We Forget monument in St Kilda, and in the memory of the Anzacs. They don't care. So this is what you're going to see: riot gear. You're going to see these people be very heavy-handed towards the Patriots, towards the natives, but to the foreigners, please come down, sir.
You need to come down, sir.
You need to come down, sir. You need to come down, sir. So this is two-tier policing. So I'll be fair, I haven't seen that yet in Australia. Our police, Victoria Police, are doing everything in their power to arrest these people, but they get out on bail because, you know, apparently our bail laws are very soft, and our woke Jacinta Allen had toughened up those bail laws. But recently, these people firebombed a nightclub or a restaurant. They came out the next day. So we definitely have two-tier justice. Even if you don't want to think that is two-tiered, you're just going to think, because these laws were designed with Australian people in mind, not people from other cultures where they view going to jail completely differently, okay? And a normal Aussie, he doesn't want to have a criminal record because he wants to travel. A Somali or Sudanese teenager, he doesn't care because he's exposed to his Sudani or Somali, or I'm not singling out just Sudanis, Somali, Bengalis, or anyone from any third world culture. He grows up in that third worldly cultural household. So he's going to learn, he's going to pick up those traits. He's going to see his dad beating his mother up. Not drunk dad, because that might be a problem of a white family, but in a Muslim family, he'll just like I think I played a video of a Muslim man beating his wife in my last video. So he's going to absorb those cultural traits. It's common and it's normal. So that's going to happen. That's why our laws are not working. But anyway, so it hasn't happened yet. Two-tier policing hasn't happened yet. I would still stand by our police, but Brits have no law. Forget about Scotland Yard. Forget about the Metropolitan Police. Forget about that. What we grew up learning or thinking that the British justice system is we need to envy it. It's nothing like that. It's crap. Nobody in Britain, people hate their police. The Muslims love it. Actually, no, they don't love it. They actually treat it as a joke. This is the reality of their police. Have a look at that. It's become a joke. They've become a joke. I've got more. I've got another video. They don't fear the police. Look at that. They're chased off. Everywhere you look at, they're chased off. They don't fear them. They don't respect them. So our police still commands respect, but I see our police is losing that respect. People will become more and more brazen. Not Aussies, not people who are culturally Australians, but these third worlders, because they don't respect police. So I don't know which way our police is going to go. I do know someone very higher up in Victoria Police, and he told me that. I said, Victoria Police, you know, I used to fear them. I used to hate them when they would pull you over. They've got guns on them. Not that anyone ever. Actually, there was one side. This copper pulled gun on me, and he's like, "Put your hand on the steering wheel." I was like, "Okay, f that." And I had just come out of a petrol station, and he thought that I had done a drive off. But anyway, I was like, "Okay, don't argue with them. Just I want that police. I want the police to be heavy-handed on criminals and soft." So it hasn't happened yet. So I don't know. It is likely if our culture keeps evolving in the lefty direction, then they will soften our police to the point where they will resemble the British police that I just showed you. We're going to have more and more hostile left. This is my prediction number 8. The left is going to become more and more radical in their approach. In the UK, their Green Party had a sudden surge of popularity because they had new non-conventional right-wing parties like Reform and now Restore. It was only understandable for someone to become, for a radical lefty party to emerge. So that happened in the UK, not to a level where we should be worried about them. So they're 20, 25%. Okay. So I worry that we could have in our green, which is as wacky as it gets, it could become more popular. However, the latest polls don't show that. But I think we might have a more radical lefty party emerge in the coming years just to counter One Nation, because Labour Party can't counter One Nation. Our politics is evolving. Future politicians are not going to watch their words like these career politicians do, like our Tory, the coalition politicians or Labour politicians. It's not going to be like that. People are going to be more outspoken, more Trump-esque. People who are more authentic in their approach. People would want politicians who speak their language rather than the ones who hide behind sophistry and, we're gonna watch our words, we're gonna be more careful. No, that old politics is dying. So it's only inevitable for a radical lefty political party to emerge to counter One Nation. And they're going to become more and more hostile. They become more and more radical, which will further fuel hard right-wing politics. That's my prediction number 9. You're going to have, even if One Nation can't deliver, then we're going to, as a country, as a society, we're going to drift further to the right. So we're going to have more right-wing, more hard right, far-right politics emerge, which will give rise to two kinds of right-wing nationalism. Civic nationalism, which is me. I put culture above everything. I put Australian values, Australian culture above everything, above race, gender, because it is possible. I'm a living, breathing proof. But the other side of that is ethnic nationalism, ethno-nationalism, where some people have given up. Obviously, it's easier for those people because they are white. So they would say, well, you know what? All of these problems started emerging when we started bringing in non-white people. To some extent, it is true. It's not, you can't dismiss it by simply saying, well, that's not true, that's racist. No, it's true. Most races, I have always said it, race is the biggest phenotype of someone's cultural representation. Of any culture, most black people will act in accordance to their African culture or their African heritage. Most Pakistanis, 95% of them, will act in accordance to their culture, their home native culture. Even though they may not visibly be hostile, but they will raise their children in a Pakistani way, in Punjabi way, in Islamic, whatever that is. So the chances of them integrating are far less than someone coming in from Britain, for example, or America or Canada or New Zealand into Australia. They're culturally almost similar. They might have some differences of opinions, like if you're an American, then they're like, maybe we should have more guns. You'll find equal number of Australians who might say that we need more guns. So there is cultural similarity, which makes assimilation a whole lot easier than bringing in people from other cultures. So I understand why ethno-nas make that argument. Okay, but there are some exceptions. But exceptions, you can't make wide policies over exceptions. So, for example, a lot of ethno-nas go after Avi Yemeni. They go after his fellow. I don't know what Rukhsan's official position is, but anyway, he's his partner in crime. He works for Rebel News. So they go after he's Sri Lankan, he's brown, like me. Probably slightly a shade darker than me, but it doesn't matter. So ethno-nas are always going at him. Even though he's culturally Australian, he puts Australia first. He's got no loyalty to Sri Lanka or any other culture. He puts Australia first. So Avi, me, so that's why we support civic nationalism. Now, I think that just like in the UK, civic nationalism is winning. Tommy Robinson is not an ethno-nat, he's a civic nationalist. That distinction is very important. I'm a civic nationalist. And because Australia is a decent society, I don't think ethno-nationalism will be able to capture a big slice of Australian society. That's my prediction. Probably it is out of hope, because I don't want ethno-nationalists to win, because in their country I have no place. But it's not just for selfish reasons. I think it's the right approach too. Why would you punish Frodo in Rivendell? A hobbit is going. A hobbit is different to elves. He's going to destroy. He's going to risk his life. He's going to fight for the mutual good of everyone, and he has no problem with you. So why would you punish Frodo for risking his life when he's going to do your work? He's going to Mordor to destroy the evil rings of power. So that's what it looks like. It's counterintuitive. Why would you not reward or why would you not embrace people who are on your side and do not pose a threat? They recognize the problem. Third world cultures, cultures that are not integrating or assimilating, they're dangerous. So that's my ninth prediction. The eighth prediction was the left will grow, and ninth prediction is the right will grow, and this distinction between civic nationalists and ethno nationalists is going to become more and more apparent. And I also, might I add, One Nation Pauline Hanson is a civic nationalist. She's not a racist person. Just like Restore UK, Rupert Murdoch. I know a lot of British ethno-nats are pinning their hopes on Rupert Murdoch. I can tell you, I can guarantee my life, he ain't an ethno-nat. Ethno-nationalism is a very basic position. I'm sorry. It doesn't make sense. It's an absolutist position, and absolutist positions are often wrong. 10th prediction, which is a very serious prediction. We're going to see a sharp increase in anti-Semitic attacks against the Jewish people. Now, I know a lot of people would say, oh, here we go again. Anti-Semitic people, they are always victims, just like Muslims, they're always crying victim. No, it's actually different. It's very different. Jewish people have always been fewer in number. They do punch way above their weight. There are only 10 million Jews in the world, 20 million Jews, I think. Some people, the number is 10 million is often thrown, even if they're 20 million. That's a very tiny number of Jews, and they have a lot of influence, for understandable reasons, because they've suffered a lot. But because they're always the smallest group, everyone goes after them. We have seen that in the UK. There's been a 400% increase in attacks against random Jewish people. I've played so many of those videos. Some Muslims are just they just randomly punch a Jewish person. Like, wow. Just 2 weeks ago, a Muslim man just went to Golders Green and started stabbing random Jewish people, people who looked Jewish, okay? Muslims have gone through Jewish neighborhoods with loudspeakers saying they will F their mothers, F their daughters, they will R their daughters. And again, two-tier policing, they couldn't arrest them. Listen to this.
Fuck their movement, fuck all of them, fuck their mothers, fuck their daughters, and show them support for Palestine. Shut them out, rape their daughters. If you have to send a message like that, free.
Look how brazen they are. And we've seen similar things here on a smaller scale. I think one Jewish restaurant in Malvern, somewhere in Melbourne, inner city Melbourne, which is a very Jewish area. Some Lebanese Muslims went there and they firebombed it. It's happened in Sydney. A synagogue was attacked. But it is nothing compared to what has already happened in the UK. Hence my prediction. Again, I don't have to be the world's smartest person or a futurist or someone with a crystal ball. It's happened in the UK. I'm only telling you what's already happened in the UK, and I've been saying it for many years, that it's going to happen here. I'm not angry that people didn't listen, because that's not how societies work. Societies only work or only respond when things become unbearable. So it's going to become unbearable. It's going to get worse. These are my 10 predictions. Go check out my first video where I went in detail about my first five predictions. And I think there are a lot more nuances as well. So I might make part 3 as well at some point, but these things are going to happen. Just to recap, your neighborhoods will become more third worldly. You'll see an increase in crime that you haven't seen before. There'll be more brutality, such as machete attacks, knife crime. Aussie crime was different, so it'll be different in nature. That's not to say that Australians don't commit crime. Australian crime is very Australian specific. Something, like you'll go to a bar, you might have a bar fight, you get king hit, one hit punch and whatnot. Very Australian in nature. But you'll see a different type of crime get introduced. That's prediction number 2. Australian women are going to experience a lot more sexual crime, not for Australian men, from other men of other cultures. Number 4, Australian flag. The Australian flag will become, waving it or hosting it will become racist. It will become offensive. Number 5, you'll be arrested for your social media posts. Hasn't happened yet, but it will happen. Number 6, two-tier justice, thousands of cases in Britain we have witnessed. We have started witnessing them in Australia. So you're going to see two-tier justice. Number 7, two-tier policing in the UK is a well-observed phenomena. The term comes from the UK. Hasn't happened yet in Australia to some scale, unless I'm aware of some examples. Let me know if you think that it is already happening in Australia. So you'll notice two-tier policing as well. Number 8, there will be a left-wing party emerge to counter One Nation. So there'll be a far left radical, left-wing party, possibly Greens. I don't know. I hope not. This is a worst nightmare for me. That is likely to happen, which leads into my 9th prediction. And that will give rise to a right-wing political party, which is further to the right of One Nation. And lastly, number 10, you're going to undoubtedly see an increase in anti-Semitic attacks. Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. I actually mentioned. I forgot. I spoke about an attack on a Jewish synagogue in Sydney and a Jewish restaurant in Melbourne. What happened in December? The Bondi terrorist attack that was done by a Muslim, born and raised in Australia, of Indian Muslim parents, who went to the beach with a sole target of maximizing Jewish casualties. There might be more number of attacks in the UK, but in terms of actual casualties, I think Australia might be higher than the UK. So undoubtedly, you're going to see a lot more anti-Semitic attacks in Australia. So these are my 10 predictions. Let me know what you think. If I missed something, please let me know in the comments below.